Okay, here we go with Applied Lab 12.2.9. There is some missing data in this lab occasionally. I've opened this lab a few times, and sometimes the data is there and sometimes the file is not there. If the file is not there, you cannot complete the last half of the lab. So if that's the case, you can try restarting the lab to see if it works. And I apologize, I'm not sure how to fix the problem. All right, so we're going to log in. First of all, we've been given data for all of our sales order details from the system. We're going to perform some basic exploratory analysis, and we're going to use some of the central tendency statistics to provide some information about the sample data set. We're going to use the sales order details data from AdventureWorks 2019 that has been provided in Excel. So we've got our exam objectives, and we will move forward. Login. Populate that. Okay, so we're going to use the measures of central tendency to answer the following questions. Open the sales order details Excel file. From the datasets folder. So this product performance file is the one that sometimes doesn't show up. So if you don't see that here, you're missing a file. But this first section is on the sales order details. Okay, we're going to perform a save as and name the file working sales order details. Okay, save. Profile the data by performing the necessary calculations on the data in the Details Sheet tab. The column to calculate metrics is Order Quantity in the All Sales Order Details tab. So in the All Sales Order Details, we're looking at this column F here. So when we go into the details, we're going to put in these descriptive statistics here. So we're going to start with the formula of equals and average, just the word average, open parenthesis, and then we'll jump back over here to the all order sales, and we'll click on column F. And then we're just going to hit enter, the enter key, to finish it off. When we start clicking around, we run the risk of changing the cell reference. So it's best once we get it in to just hit enter. So here is our information. I'm just going to title this up here, order quantity, so that I remember which one we're tracking here. Now I could start typing this highest line item out, but instead I'm going to take this and I'm going to just copy it down. Because it's using a column, I don't even have to worry about absolutes. I can just drag it down like that, and it's going to put the same formula into each one. And then I'm just going to go in and change the function. So they're all going to be all sales order details for the column of F. But this one, highest line item, I'm going to change to max. Okay, and hit enter. And for the lowest line item, I'm going to put min. So I'm going to min, enter, median, enter, mode, and if I'm not sure which one of these it is, I can toggle it. As soon as I see the one that I want, I'll hit tab or I'll double click on it. So if I want this multi-mode.mult, I can hit tab or double click. I just hit tab and then hit enter. So the lowest is 1, and then the range actually doesn't use this formula at all, so I'm going to clear this out. And that is the highest item minus the max minus the min. Enter. All right, 43, good. So we've profiled our data. We're going to launch Notepad to document our notes on this file and save it to the datasets folder and name it details. So down here in the search bar, I'm going to type in Notepad to pull it up. Okay, I'm going to create a file, save as, And title it Details. In the datasets, 12.2.9 folder, info about sales order details, order quantity, description, and I'll jump back over here, grab these and paste them in. Okay, it's a little messy, but that's all right. How many rows are in the full data set? So we can jump back over here. I could just do a count down here, or the N. I'll do F like that. 60,919. The other way that I could do that is to go over here into this file, into this worksheet, click on here, and then look at the bottom. This is called my status bar down here, and it has average, count, sum. But if I right click on it, I can actually add a bunch more if I want, including the numerical count, the minimum, the maximum. So at a glance, I don't even have to run those functions. I can just get that information. So now these are all listed: average, count, numerical count, min, max, sum. All right, but my answer here is 60,919. Take a few moments to familiarize yourself with the data in the file. It is important to note that you will primarily use the field labeled line total to achieve the answers in the questions below. Line total represents the amount of money that is associated with each line item on the sales order. Okay, so if we're looking at our data here, and I'm going to highlight all of the columns here by just clicking and dragging across the tops. And I'm going to double click in between any one of them to make them all as wide as they need to be. That's a little trick. So it's saying that the line total, so let's see what we're looking at here. We've got sales order ID, sales order detail ID, and sales order ID. Product ID, okay, product number, name must be of the product, how many were ordered, okay, the unit price, looks like this times this equals this line total. Customer ID, which makes me think that we're going to have multiple lines for every order placed, which salesperson ordered it, and then their name. Okay, so we could just take a look. Looks like we've got multiples of these, multiples of those. Do we have multiple sales order IDs? If we just sort this by and data and go to sort, A to Z. Yep, we have multiples in here for this. But do we have multiples of these? Okay, so it looks like these are maybe unique. We'd have to look at the whole thing to find out, but that seems right. And then within the sales order ID, you'd have multiple detail IDs because you might order multiple products within one order. Okay, all right, I think I got an idea of what this is. So, what kind of information is in this data set? Ship to addresses, ship dates. Nope, we don't have any addresses. Order dates. I don't think we have any dates in here. Inventory levels, no. Order IDs, product information, quantity, customer detail. This looks like the right one. Okay, what is the unit price for the water bottle of 30 ounces? So water bottle would be in the name column. So I'm going to put a filter on here. And let's look up the word bottle. And here we have, so I'll click OK. So we filtered to just those. You can see the unit price here is $2.99, although sometimes it is $2.74. But looks like $2.99 is an option. Perhaps at a certain threshold we get to lower the price. What is the product number for patch kit 8 patches? So let's clear the filter, and then we'll come back and we'll look for patch kit. And it's PK7098. PK7098. Okay. How many instances of chain are in the name column? So here again, we'll clear the filter and we'll look for the word chain. Okay, so it's kind of too many to count, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to highlight E, and I'm going to look at the count here, 251. It may or may not include that header, so I'll look here and it looks like 250, so that would make sense with the header, 250. Okay, what is the salesperson's first name associated with sales order ID 65157? Could just copy this, Control C. I'm going to clear the filter and look for sales order ID, paste it, and it looks like this is Linda Mitchell, so I need the first name, Linda. In your details notepad file, record the number of rows in the data set, the largest and smallest line total values, and the sales order ID start and end values. So we haven't done the rows. Let's clear this filter. What do we have in here? So we have the mean, highest, mode, range. Okay, count or number of rows, and that is going to be, I think it was 60,919. Then we want to do the largest and smallest line total values. Okay, so we have order quantity but not line total. So let's look at this line total. We could run these descriptive statistics again, but use line total instead, column H. But because these are all listed at the bottom here, I could also just pull them from there. So I want the largest and smallest. So the min is 1.37 and the max is 27,893.62. Description. Min is 1.37. Max is 27,893.62. And the sales order ID start and end values. So let's jump back over here. Sales order ID. So we do not have a filter applied, so that's okay. So let's just sort these. I've clicked a cell in this column, and now I can just do A to Z. And so the sales order ID, the lowest one is 43659. Four, 3, 6, 5, 9, 2. And this time I'll do Z to A, 71952. Okay, so we open the file in Excel, we profile the data set and save the output file. Okay, analyze data with pivot tables. In this section, we're going to use the products that have been ordered and their total quantity and their line total. This way you can study the products for their overall performance. You can easily use a pivot table to give some insight into the products that have been ordered. So we're going to create a pivot table by choosing Pivot Table under Insert. That gives us each individual product ID in the rows. And let's just get started before we read through all the rest of that. So I'm clicking on my information here, and then I just need one cell selected. I either need to select the entire table or have just one. If I have more than one, it thinks that this is the specific part I'm calling out. So just one cell selected. Insert, Pivot Table. So it's selected my range, so I can see this dotted green line. It looks like it's chosen the right thing. I'll just click OK. And now I can build my pivot table. So the first thing it says is that we want the product ID in rows. So the best way of doing this, don't check the boxes, drag it into these fields here. So here's the rows section. So I'm going to take the product ID and I'm going to drag it into rows. Just like that. So now the product IDs are listed here. And we want the total sums of order quantity and line total, and then a count of sales order detail ID. So we need order quantity, and that's not going to go in columns, that's going to go in values. Here's what happens if you put it in columns. It makes every value its own column label, so that's not what we want. We want it to go into the values instead. And then we want line total to go in values, and then we want sales order detail ID to go in values. Okay, so, and we have the sum of order quantity, we have the sum of line total, so those two make sense. The sum of sales order detail ID, that is not something that we want. These are not really numbers, if you remember right. These are like the unique identifiers for each line in your sales order. So we don't want to sum that, we want to count that. And to do that, we're going to click on this item down here, sum of sales, and under the value field settings, I'm going to click that and pull it up. Now I have the ability to choose from sum or change it to count here. So we're going to do count and click OK. So now this is the number of times that this product shows up. This is the number of times this product was ordered one time, or one item or 200 items. Every time there was an order placed with this product ID in it, that's how many sales counts we have. Okay. It also says to ensure that our currency is formatted to look like dollars or money. So here's our line total. Order quantity, we don't need to put currency in because that's not dollars, but line total should be. So again, down here, I'm going to click the drop down, value field settings, and here is number format. And I'm going to pick currency. And OK. All right, so here's our pivot table. What is the total order quantity for product 712? Okay, so order quantity, product 712. So we can look here, it's 6121. Okay, and sometimes it's nice to reorder these. Right now they're in order of the product ID, but a lot of times I will try to order them in by one of these, like greatest to least. So let's do order quantity here, just to get a feel for what our data is. 715 has the highest, the most ordered. 712 is second. If we look at the sum line total, some of these are kind of bigger than other ones, so let's resort these. Z to A. Looks like 782 is our biggest revenue maker. 783, those top ones aren't even in there. And then let's look at the count. So 712 and 715, I think those were both in there before for order quantity, but actually 715 was above, because you can see 6140 is more than 6121. But 712 is higher when it comes to count. So more individual orders were placed with 712 in them than 715 or any of the other ones. But over here, the order quantity, more individual items were purchased of 715 than 712. So that's the difference of those. So 710 has the order sum of 90. What does that mean? So it has the order quantity sum. It means order quantity, the company made $90 selling this item. Nope, that's not a dollar amount. It will have the highest revenue line total value. I don't think we can make that assumption. There are 90 of these items sold. Yes, that is what that means. You want to drill down on product ID 712. This will allow you to gain some additional insight on the AWC logo cap, which we'll preview ahead. 712 is the AWC logo cap. And if you didn't know what these were, you could add them in. We could take the name here and we could add it to the product ID or put it underneath the product ID so that we get to see the names of all these. So we want to determine reasons why this might be the most ordered product. So we want to create a data set that has only these values for further analysis. This is done by double-clicking one of the value fields associated with product ID 712 in the pivot table. So here's 712, so I can double-click on any one of these numbers and it'll pull up a separate table with everything that falls into that category. So if I double-click, here's a new table with only AWC logo cap product ID 712. Only 712, only this name here. Okay, so we'll check that off. In our details notepad, we're going to include the numbers of rows in this drill down data set. So I can hover over this and I can see that there are 1193. Just double check. So it was really 1192. So let's jump over to our notepad here. We can say most ordered product 712 AWC logo cap. Orders including 712 would be 192. Selected, I'm going to say drilling into 712 to determine why it is the most ordered product. So these are just my notes for the future or for the next person who touches this data. How many observations are in this sample? 1192. Okay, the answers to following questions would be based on order quantity field in our AWC logo cap data set. We're going to round to the nearest whole number for the answers below. What is the mean of AWC logo cap based on quantity ordered? Rounded to the nearest integer value. So we can, quantity ordered here, we can select this and then we can look down here at the bottom and see that the average is 5.13 and it wants us to round to the nearest integer, so that would be 5. What is the highest quantity ordered? That would be, well, the sum is 61, max is 27. So 27 is the most that any one order had. What is the lowest order quantity? That would be 1. Again, down here, minimum 1. Score. Create a notepad document named Product 712 Details and save it in the Datasets folder. So we're creating another notebook. Let's save this one. We'll save this as Product 712 Details. In this folder, good. Okay, we want to document the following: most ordered product name and product ID. The highest order quantity and the sales order IDs are for the sales order detail IDs that had the highest order quantity. The most ordered product name from sales order details, most ordered product 712 AWC logo cap. Good. Highest order amount was 27, I believe, right? Come here. Yep, max 27. And then what sales order IDs are for the sales order detail IDs that had the highest order quantity. So if we look up here, let's sort by highest order quantity. So we'll go to data and we're going to sort this Z to A. Go all the way to the top. So our top sales orders, and I don't know if they want the top 3, so let's just give them that. Top 3 orders by quantity. So we're going to have 37335. So I'm taking this sales order detail ID here, and they ordered, make this a little smaller here, 27, and then 16968 is 25, and 40092 is 24, and we'll specify here that it's sales order detail IDs for top 3 orders by quantity. I guess we can put order quantity. Okay, so we've done that, Use the pivot table previously created and the main all sales order details to answer the following questions, not the drill down on product ID 712. Okay, so what is the product name that has been ordered the most based on the product ID? Well, we already know that that's AWC logo cap. And it's looking for the name, not the product ID. What is the product name? Okay. What is the range of money spent for orders based on the line item? So this one I think is a little bit confusing because they're telling you not to use the product order 712, product ID 712. They want you to use the main order, but none of these answers are correct for that. So if we look at all sales orders and we look at the range of money spent for orders based on the line item. So if we look at the line item total, that'd be the money that was spent by line. It's got much higher numbers than are included here. So what I found is that if you go to the AWC cap, logo cap, and you look here at the line totals, you can see that it ranges from 518 or maybe 519. And then if we go all the way down to the bottom, 112, and that is an option here. I could have also highlighted this column and looked down here. So min 519 and max 112.73. So we'll do that one. This is very confusing because they specifically tell you not to go to this product page, but that's the only one where this answer would make sense. Save it, the file and close Excel. So I never like to close the files until I have to, so I will not close it. Created the pivot table, and we're able to answer basic questions about the data set. Yes. All right. Trend analysis and percent of change. So in this section, we're going to perform trend analysis to determine if the years 2012 and 2013 look similar month over month. We're going to use the file name product performance to determine the answers to the following questions. When answering for the month, use the 3-letter abbreviation. Okay, so open the Excel file called product performance. Again, this is the file that I was unable to find sometimes when I opened up this lab. But here it is now, product performance. So I'm going to open that up. Okay, so it looks like I have product 712. We're back to that product. And then 2013, 2012, 2013 pivots. Okay, nothing in there. Okay. First, remove all the values in the order date column that are not 212 or 213. We can do this a number of ways, but perhaps choosing a filter on the date column and then keeping only the dates in the range is an easy way to accomplish this. So there's, like I said, it's multiple ways of doing this. So if we look here, here's the order date. Let's make that bigger. So if we put a filter on this and we filter down to, we want to deselect 2012 and 2013, so we only have the other years. And then I can select the row, the entire row. I'll do Control Shift down to select every row that's still there. So these are only rows showing from 2011 and 2014. And I will delete them. So right click and delete row. Then I can clear the filter and only my 2012 and 2013 remain. So that's one way I could do it. I could have done this also in the pivot table option, and maybe I'll do it in the pivot table option here just so you can see. So I'm going to undo that step. Okay, so now we're going to create a pivot chart, and we'll do the 2012, 2013 over there. So we're going to have a pivot chart by selecting here, then we'll say Insert, and then to the right here we've got a pivot chart. And it doesn't show it quite yet, but later on we're going to find out that you need to, that you should have some sort of trend line. So we're going to select this data, good, and we're just going to put it, I guess we'll put it on a new worksheet. So we'll let this go. Oh, I guess we're going to put it on this worksheet. Existing worksheet, location, and we'll just put it right up here. Okay. So now we have 2012, 2013 pivot table, and I can immediately put in my order date in the filters, and I can filter it down to just be certain years. So I'll do that after. So we want to choose years. I'm sorry, we want to add a pivot chart with the unit price over time, which is our order date. So we're going to put order date in our rows. And then we're going to say we want the unit price over time. So we'll drag unit price into our values. And you can see how much the price is varying over each month. Oops, and I put order quantity. Sorry, that's not what I wanted. Order date. All right, and it sorts it into, by default, years and then quarters. So to get rid of quarters, all I have to do is take this and drag it out. And now it's by years, and I can expand these to see 2011, 2012, 2013, and 2014. And up here I can do my little filter, and I can take out 2014, anything beyond 2014, and 2011, anything before 2011. So now it's just got 2012 and 2013 left. All right, and so we actually don't want this line chart. We're going to use so by clicking on it, we're going to say Pivot Chart Analyze. We're going to do the design, and then in Change Chart Type, we're going to change it to a line chart here, and we'll use this one with the markers. Okay, so we've got unit price over order date. Since Excel chooses years and quarters by default, we can expand the dates by month for better granularity in the pivot table on the left. All right, which month has the highest quantities ordered over the full 2-year period? So and it says quantities ordered, not unit price. So I think that's another mistake. So I think I will put quantity ordered into the values. Get down here, and then maybe we'll get rid of unit price. I think that was a mistake for them to have put that. So if we look at every month, we've got a little high point here, and we can make this a little bit bigger. Got a high point here in June of 2013. Is that the question? Which month has the highest quantities ordered over the full 2-year period? June. Okay. Which month in 2012 had the lowest quantity ordered? So if we look over here at 2012, we can see 48 would be February. What is the sum of order quantity in August 2012? Sum of ordered quantity in August of 2012 is 154. You will next calculate the percentage of change between the quantities between 2012 and 2013 to determine what the actual percentage of change is between both years. Which month had the greatest percent change? Okay, so one way that I can do this, and this is saying sometimes you just want to copy and paste to do the math, because doing the math with pivot charts can be a little complicated. Pivot tables, not least of which is if you're adding and subtracting from it, it might take over some of the cells where you put some of your calculations. So I would just do a copy. But first, before I do that, I'm going to take my years, I'm going to drag them up to the columns, not filters, columns. So that 2012 and 2013 are right here, side by side. And now I can kind of see them compared 1 year over the next. So I'm going to take my numbers here, I'm going to copy them, and I'm going to paste them down here. Okay, and now we need to find percent change. So I'm going to put percent change here. And our formula for percent change is the equals, parenthesis, and we're going to say the 2013 minus the 2012 date with another parenthesis. And then we're going to divide that by the old date. Enter. And then we'll make that a percent by clicking percent. You could also just multiply it by 100. All right, so negative 19%, and then all I need to do is drag this down to get the percent change for every month. So which month had the greatest percent change? That would be this 204, that would be February. Which months did not have an increase in the year 2013? So that would be our negative numbers. So January and December. January and December. All right, so we completed the required task. We can perform the trend analysis. All right, Excel Statistical Analysis Toolpak. So we might find that being able to work the Excel Statistical Analysis Toolpak can be a valuable way to find more statistical details about our data, as well as easily answering some of the basic statistics of any data set. And that's true, but it doesn't come standard in Excel, so we have to add it into our program. So to do that, These don't come standard. I believe it's usually in the Data tab. So what we have to do, and this is on your personal Excel desktop application or in here, we'll say File, and then drop down to the Options at the very bottom. This Options window pops up. We're going to go to the Add-ins section. And then down here, we're going to Manage Add-ins, and we're going to click Go. And here are the add-ins that are currently available to us. You can go get more, but these are the ones that are just there. They're just not installed yet. So we're going to click this first one, the Analysis Toolpak, and click OK. And now here in the Data tab, all of a sudden we have a data analysis icon. So we're going to run descriptive statistics onto a new sheet using the line total. So we're going to go back over here to product 712. We're going to take this line total, okay, and we're going to do data analysis. Click this. We have a bunch of different types of analysis that we can do. We are going to start with the descriptive statistics. Click OK. Our input range. So this is what we're taking the running the statistics on. So we'll click this drop down here. I'm going to pick column I. Group by column, okay, and then we do have labels in our first row, so we want to make sure to count that. Then our output range, we're going to do a new worksheet, and we want these summary statistics, and I'm going to throw in the confidence level for the mean, just for good measure. I don't think we need it, but I'll give you an example, show you how this works. So now we're going to click OK. And then just like that, all those stats are run for us. Mean, standard error, median, mode, standard deviation, sample variance. So we've talked about variance. Kurtosis and skewness we haven't talked much about, and that's a little bit beyond this class. Range, maximum, minimum, we've talked about all those, sum, count, and then confidence levels we've talked about. So we've talked about most of this, and it ran it just like that. So what is the median rounded to the nearest dollar? So our median is 20.46, so it'll be 21. Not sure why 21 isn't the correct answer. I believe the correct answer is 22, so perhaps they have their numbers wrong, but 20.746 rounded up is not 22. What is the mode rounded to the nearest dollar? So let's hope this one's good, 10.373. So we're going to try 10, see how that turns out. All right, that one's all right. And then we'll save this file as sales order descriptive in the datasets 12.2.9 folder. Okay, file, save as. And sales order, not details, but descriptive. And save. Verify that we completed the required tasks, performed trend analysis and answered questions, check. Next, have we completed this? Performed analysis techniques, including calculating central tendency statistics, building basic pivots, completing basic trend analysis, and determining the percent of change between values. All right, check and submit. Okay, 20 out of 21, and I think we got 21 out of 21, but either way, it should be a passing score. Otherwise, thanks. Until the next one.